Hi, I'm Dianna Campbell, and welcome to my show, Dianna. Okay, okay, I'm not smiling. Okay, I'm too serious. Kind of. Okay. I forgot one. Involved in the community human rights involved advocate. Join me and my exciting guests while we discuss business, education, technology, media, and politics. Get to know me, Dianna, a proud survivor of cancer and founder of BETM Consulting. I'm a passionate and involved human rights and community advocate. Join me on Dianna, and I will see you the next time. Hi, welcome to Talk with Dianna Survivor. I have a great guest here today, Zazel O'Hara. How you doing? O'Hara, yes. Okay. How you doing, Zazel?
I'm doing well, thank you.
You look gorgeous.
Thank you very much.
Love that look. I'm doing that. I was there before. That was during my cancer days, but I think I need to get back there for the summer. No hair. How you doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, you're so welcome. And this is my little health week, covering people and their health matters and things they do. I met Zazel at a fundraiser recently, and I just fell in love with her. And I said, I just knew this woman had a lot of spirit, and I was reading your bio, and I saw Alvin Ailey in there. And you're a dancer, and that was something I did, was ballet until I just couldn't come to New York and join Alvin Ailey, so I did something else.
Yes, I have a rich history in dance. I started dancing when I was 8 years old, and I went to, the High School of Performing Arts and danced at Harlem and Alvin Ailey, and I majored in dance in college, and I traveled abroad, and I danced in Europe, and I had a rich history in dance. I've always loved dance, and it just was, in my spirit, I was always very active, and my mother said I danced out of her belly, so she put me in dance when I was 8 years old so I could keep active. Okay. Yeah.
Were you born in New York?
I was born in New York, but my family is from a very small island. My mother and father, they're from Montserrat, West Indies. Okay. A very small island right next door to Antigua.
Well, I stayed in Jamaica, Caribbean. I've been to Antigua too. Yeah, so that's nice. So I could tell that flair. Anyway, so you had a challenging last few years, and let's hear about it. But before that, I do want to talk about the dance. I think surviving is art and education, and just that was my survivorship is seeing art. And Alvin Ailey was my favorite.
Right.
And I really wanted to dance with Alvin Ailey. I was balleting till I was in college, and from Ohio, they wouldn't let me move here when I was a young teenager to take the classes, but we were talking about my other guests. We were talking about how I would sneak out Sloan Kettering, and my birthday, December, and they have the gala. And it's right around my birthday, December the 1st. Right. And I've been going every year for the last over 15 years, maybe minus some couple of years, and that's only because I was having chemo and I couldn't make it.
Right.
Okay. Right. And that's been my staple, and I just love the dance and the arts and everything, and that's probably been your trail of how you're surviving what you're doing, going through.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you a brief history of my survivorship. I am a brain tumor survivor, and I got diagnosed with meningioma, a benign brain tumor, 15 years ago, which left me partially paralyzed on my right side. I had my surgery in New Jersey at St. Barnabas Hospital, and it kind of happened really suddenly. I mean, they say meningioma is a small growing tumor, so I had it for years. I mean, it could have been 30 years I had this tumor, but I didn't get the symptoms until maybe 5 years, when I was like in my 30s or so. I mean, all of a sudden I started getting extremely tired. I could not keep my eyes open. I mean, I would be walking on the train and like walking and sleeping at the same time. And then my handwriting started to change. I mean, I couldn't write my name.
Oh.
And then I started getting these like electrical shocks, like would come through my stomach and like land in my head. But I wouldn't fall out. It's just like these weird feelings started happening. And then I started to get nauseous and, you know, just these strange feelings. And I started to throw up. So I was going to several doctors and telling them how I felt. And, you know, they would give me tests and what have you, and nothing was happening. They didn't find anything. And then I went to this one doctor my girlfriend sent me to. She's like, Zazel, go to this doctor. And he didn't take any health insurance. And he charged me $350 on the Upper East Side. And I went to him. He did tests, and I went back to get the test. And he said, you have Epstein-Barr syndrome, which is a sleeping disease. And I said, I paid $350. You better give me something else.
Okay.
Give me something else other than a sleeping sickness. So then finally, to make a long story short, I went to another doctor. I went to a gynecologist, my gynecologist. And I was telling her, you know, I feel strange. I just feel really weird. And I said I was getting these really strange feelings in my stomach, these electrical feelings in my stomach. My handwriting was changing. And I said, I feel really strange. So she said, maybe you're going through a hormonal imbalance.
Of course they would say that.
And she said, I'm going to put you on birth control pills.
Yes.
And she asked me if I had an HIV test, and I said, no, I haven't had one. I said, give me everything. So she gave me everything, and she put me on birth control pills. And the birth control pills was what did it. I started getting those feelings. I was having those weird feelings every 2 minutes. Like those electrical volts. But those electrical volts I was getting were seizures.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And she was the one that saved my life, my gynecologist. So it was around Christmas time, and I told my sister, I don't feel well. And my sister at the time was living in Jersey, and she says, oh, let's go out to the hospital out here. It's like luxury. So she took me to the hospital out there, St. Barnabas Hospital, and it was luxury. It's not like New York City hospitals, because you go to emergency rooms in New York City, and you have to wait like 3 days.
I went out there. I stayed in Jersey. I got diagnosed while I was staying in Jersey. I went to every hospital. I went there too. Nobody could find anything.
Exactly. And so when I went to the hospital there, to the ER, there was no one there. It was just me. So I told them how I felt, and you know, they gave me tests and everything, all these tests, and they found nothing. And I came back out, and I said, you know what? I feel a little dizzy. And she said, well, let's give you an MRI. I said, oh, okay. So she gave me the MRI, and I'll never forget this. She gave me the MRI, I came back out, and when I came out, they gave me Xanax, which is the anti-anxiety medication. And she said to wait in the room for the doctor to come and speak to you. And I went into the room, and the doctor came to, you know, sat down next to me, and my sister was like sitting across from me. And I was like zoned out with the Xanax, just like, whoo. And the doctor came in and said, we found a huge mass on your brain.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh, okay. That's all I could do because I was all zoned out on the Xanax.
I'm like, yeah, right, yeah. So, yippee.
So, and my sister immediately broke out into tears. So then all of these doctors walked in, like 5 doctors walked in, rushed into the ER. And they started asking me all these questions, and I couldn't respond because I was like,
zap, like, yeah, hi, everybody, hi.
And then they like changed my clothes and rushed me into intensive care, and my whole life changed in a matter of seconds.
Seconds, yeah.
And the following day, when the Xanax had worn off, the neurosurgeon came, and that's when he hit the blow. You know, my whole family was surrounding me at the time, and he hit me. You have a huge mass on your brain, and it is not looking good. It's in a very unusual spot behind your ear, and we don't know if we could take it all out. And it's going to cause paralysis, possible blindness, and it might make your face paralyzed, like half your face paralyzed. And I remember I was like all hooked up on all these machines, and I started hyperventilating, and I didn't want to cry because my mom was 82 years old at the time.
Oh, wow.
I have older parents.
Oh, wow.
And I just said to him, well, I'm going to be like Lance Armstrong. I'm going to be strong or whatever. And I got out of the ER, and my story is so unusual because I'm a performer, and I have had health insurance, you know, for the 15 years through the Screen Actors Guild. And right before I got diagnosed, the Screen Actors Guild had gone on strike, and my health insurance was over December 27th, and I got December 31st, and I got diagnosed on December 27th. So I would have no health insurance when I had the surgery. So here I was with no health insurance.
I didn't have any. And this was before Obamacare, and because I was misdiagnosed, my insurance wasn't paying for it.
Right.
And it was from another state, and I was like, go through my savings, and I went through everything, and it's to a zero.
Yeah, well,
but they ended up paying for everything.
Well, I was absolutely blessed. I called up the Actors Fund, and the Actors Fund, I told them, I just got diagnosed with a major brain tumor, and they said to me, don't worry about anything, and they took care of everything.
That's good.
They paid for everything. They even paid for, of course, you know, I had this 11.5-hour surgery. And after, you know, when I woke up, I was completely paralyzed on the right side of my body. And, you know, I had speech problems. And, you know, it was devastating because, you know, here I was a dancer all of my life, and, you know, waking up, you know, losing mobility, that was huge.
Right, yeah, because that's your career and
exactly.
totally thing, and just.
But I'll never forget, I would, you know, they would place me, I was at Kessler. They would place me.
Oh, I went there.
Yeah, they would place me in a
long
wheelchair,
time there.
And I would lift my leg. You know, I would lift my leg up. And they would look at me like, what is she doing? And I wouldn't allow them to put my arm in the brace.
Oh, okay.
And I would go like this, you know, lift it up. And I would do these stretches. And then when they would put me in physical therapy, I would say, open my legs up wide, you know, push me down, push me down. And they were like, we've never had a patient like you before.
Yeah, you never had a dancer like me.
I like pain. You know, push me down, open up my legs wide, you know, push it all the way up. Yeah. You know, they were like, this is unusual. So when all the patients would go back to the room after physical therapy, they would keep me in physical therapy and put my leg up on the bar and do these crazy exercises. So I was like a test patient because they've never had anyone like me before. So I said, you know what? I could do a little business in here. So it was a very interesting experience. And I remember one day I woke up, and I'll never forget this. I woke up and my thumb started moving. And I started screaming, oh my God, my thumb is moving, oh my God. And I called my sister up. I said, Kathy, my thumb is moving. And then the next day, my pinky started to move. And then all of a sudden, I started moving my wrist.
Okay, that is wonderful.
And,
So they probably said, wow, no way. And no way, how is she still alive, probably, anyway.
I mean, my neurosurgeon had never seen anything like that. And I remember one day in occupational therapy, they said to me, act like you're home and what would you do if you were home? How would you get ready for work? I said, well, I always put on my makeup. And they were like, you put on your makeup? And I said, I could put on my makeup with my foot. And so they left me alone. I had my makeup in my room. And I went in my room and I put on my makeup with my left hand. I was like, and I went back down to occupational therapy and they're like, I don't believe it. But,
wow.
You know, it was challenging.
Yeah.
You know.
So, but you, your condition was very rare to have that tumor. So how many people even survive that type? Or
well,
was it?
Many women have meningioma, but not like mine. Not like mine with the paralysis.
Is it a rare disease?
Yeah, because many people don't have the paralysis.
Okay, so it's rare. Okay.
Yeah, many people. You know, I met another girl.
There's so many. It's a 7,000 rare disease. I have to tell my patients. You know,
I met another girl recently, and we've become very, very close. She's 28, and she has had the paralysis like mine. You know, there's not that many people who are diagnosed with meningioma who have had the paralysis and, you know, the seizures. I had, you know, this kind of effect, and it's because of the location of this particular tumor. When you are diagnosed with a brain tumor, your whole life changes. And also, although my tumor was benign, it was very unusual, you know, because of the location and also because of the size, you know. So that's why, you know, I'm so very active in the brain tumor community. I mean, I joined the Brain Tumor Foundation and the Voices Against Brain Cancer. You know, I'm very, the American Brain Tumor Foundation, I'm very, very active because, you know, we are like a little family because no one knows the experience. I mean, my face is still frozen on one side. I have the paralysis. I still get the seizures. I still suffer from severe fatigue. I mean, I still take, you know, a lot of medication for the seizures. You know, my whole life has changed because of that. Although I had the surgery and it was 15 years ago, I still suffer from the aftermath of the surgery.
You have to. That's why I tell people, when even you have any kind of rare disease, it's forever.
It's forever.
It's forever, and it's always treatments, always something, and something it's going to affect something else, and you're going to need treatment for that. I mean, my whole everything in my being has been affected. So it's just
and
constant.
you know, I do have cognitive deficits from it. You know, like you know, my sister's a judge. She's a Supreme Court judge, and I go to her office. And although I am active, you know, I still work and what have you. If I have to talk, you know, I go to her office, and she's like, "Oh, Zazel, tell people what you're doing." And all of a sudden, my brain will shut down. Like the words are there, but they won't come out quickly enough.
Welcome to Talk with Dianna, Survivor. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I just had that moment. I'm like.
Yeah, I mean, I have cognitive...
Did y'all see the beginning of my introduction?
Absolutely.
It is totally there.
She's like, Zazel, tell people that you have cognitive deficits. I mean,
people don't even know what that is anyway. Half the people don't understand.
I'm a part of an organization called Divas with Disabilities, and it was started by a very good friend of mine who had cancer, who lost her leg at 18, and she is a remarkable woman.
Yeah, I've seen her.
Right, and she invited me to speak at the White House in 2014 when Obama was there, and it was just a host of people there who have disabilities. And I was on a panel, and I had to prepare myself, you know, have notes, because the medication that I take makes my brain slower. And then also, if I have a seizure or something, I mean, my brain shuts down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So she's like, Zazel, don't take the medication.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know, don't take the medication.
Yeah, yeah, okay,
and,
yeah. Well,
so, you know,
I want to be here.
Right. You know, I wanted to be there, of course, and be on the panel, but you know, I have to always prepare myself with notes or anything, and you know, just recently I was on another. I was invited to speak on another occasion, talking about disabilities, and I also had to prepare notes so that when my brain slows down, I have to prepare the notes so I could, you know, be conscious of what I'm saying.
Yeah. I know. I know the feeling. I don't have mine. That's why I just wing my show anyway. But it's the same way, because you went to Russ too. I went to Russ.
Yeah, I went to Russ for 7 months. I was there.
And I went over a year. And one of the guys that I still see, and I even talked to you, talked about him to you. You were coming on my show. He had brain tumor too. And he's a remarkable story too. He is. He's really, Anthony he's really great. I mean, when we met at Russ, neither one of us could walk or talk. Let's put it that way, you know. And then we went to the Y and the Live Strong program and to the Guild of Cancer, because they give a lot of classes too and everything.
I'm going to join that Guild of Cancer.
Yeah, come, please. I mean, really. And I'm going to go back to the Y because I want to take swimming this summer and, you know, still build up my stamina and everything, because they helped me to walk. I couldn't walk, you know.
Yeah.
And the cognitive part, I don't even know what to do with that. It's just some people confuse that with Alzheimer's, or dementia.
It's not
and
Alzheimer's.
this and
it's
all.
not Alzheimer's.
It's not.
It's just you know what you want to say, but it's slower.
It just stuck in there.
Yeah,
it's just like
it
just
doesn't come out as fast. It doesn't come out as fast.
You know, and your thought, I call it, my thought is delayed.
It's delayed. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's totally delayed. And then I'll come back and say, oh, we had that conversation maybe an hour ago.
All my words are there. All my words are there.
Yeah.
But
it's like, well, we had this conversation an hour ago. I said, oh yeah, well, I just remember what I was going to say.
Absolutely. Like, I went to grad school after my surgery.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I went to grad school after my surgery. I went to Fordham University, and I enrolled in the Office of Disability Services, because they help people with disabilities. And yeah, they help people with disabilities.
A lot. Give me.
Oh yeah, I know all the perks of people with disabilities.
Okay. Well, let me crawl in there, because there's so many people in there, and that's what we're talking about. Basically, in some of my committees, starting different things in legislature, even though, and I know there are things on the federal level, but some states and this city here is still slow in a lot of things that's out there.
No,
totally.
No, they have to help you. Like, if you...
Yeah, but if you find, it's hard to find. I mean, it's not like...
No,
people don't tell you all.
No.
You can go to a lot of hospitals and a lot of doctors, and they don't tell you what's out there. You know, you really have to be fishing and Google and getting...
you have to Google, and you have to do your research. And I got a lot of scholarships because I had a disability. I got a scholarship because I have seizures. I got a wonderful scholarship through an organization called Patient Advocate Foundation.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm part of them.
Yeah, they're excellent. They gave me scholarships for maybe about 2 years, and everyone who got the scholarships you had to have a traumatic illness. And maybe 4 of us had brain tumors, and people had major illnesses, and we all had got very significant scholarships through that organization. I got a scholarship because I was a woman with a disability. You have to look up all of those organizations, and they give you a significant amount of money.
Oh, well, I need to I need a list, and then I tell other people, because some of them, they just like, and some people don't even take advantage of the basic of things that for people with disability, because they don't know how, you know. And like I said, you would think that the hospitals and these, what you call caseworkers and social workers, they would know these things, but they don't.
They don't.
They don't know anything, so you have to be out there active, like myself.
No,
you know,
because caseworkers and social workers don't make enough money.
They don't.
They don't. And you know, I became a social worker, and it's a really, it's a 3-year program. I mean, the 3-year degree, and it's a grueling degree. It's I mean, it's a very hard degree to get, and you have to get licensed and everything. But then when you get a job, you don't get paid a lot of money.
You don't get paid any money,
No.
so they don't want to do anything,
No,
and they're not going to do more than they want to.
Right, and then you get and then it's a lot of work. Most social work jobs is a lot of work.
Yes. And you know, they don't hire a lot of people to compare. If you're working with patients, you're overloaded with patients. It's hours and hours of work.
Exactly.
I'm going through that right now as we speak. So you know, tell me. But the thing is, a lot of African Americans, when they go to school, they say, "Oh, I'm gonna get a degree in social work." And I said, "Well, number one, social workers don't pay. And then you're gonna work your buns off. So stop." They still have that stigma. I want to be a social worker. Now, probably. I'm over 60. Probably when I started out, yes, it was a great idea to go into social work. And that's when they were paying, when you really got paid, you know, because of the industry, you know. I don't care if you was wiping toilets off in a factory, you were getting paid in good benefits. But that's no more. So it's that information is just not out here. And it's hard. We're talking about, especially communities of color now, being access to all type of things for mental health.
Right, right.
And that's a part of mental health, cognitive and everything,
yeah,
you know, total.
Health,
a big part. And there's so many different levels that on the federal level, have the funding, but the cities still have not reached, because there's some organizations that I know, even in Brooklyn, just started a mental health committee for people of color. I'm like, what?
Right.
You know, and then Mayor has a big thing with his mental health program here also.
Yeah, because in his family there is
the family. Let that be the reason why.
Yeah,
sorry,
a lot of mental health
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
But that is the reason why. But even there's not a lot of qualified people in that area that they're talking about. So even if you do know, you have to search for the people that are really qualified to do that, and they may be overworked. And one of the things I had been really looking for are therapists of color.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of therapists of color.
And but a lot of them don't take insurance either.
Insurance?
Yeah. If they're not in the hospital, a lot of them do not take insurance. I've talked to probably about 8. They don't take any insurance. Psychotherapists, yeah.
Okay, well, I can hook you up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't. And I'm like, I said, okay, so if you're talking about people of color in there and they want to see a person of color,
well, it's important. It's important.
Small.
Okay, it's important. We have chronic illnesses, right? So it's important to go to someone to deal with you, to talk to you about your illness, and then to talk to you about how to handle your life.
Yes, exactly.
And so that's very difficult. That's very difficult. I dealt with a woman, and you want someone of color. Okay, no, so that's very hard. That's very hard to find.
It is very hard because there's a woman, Crystal Emery, she has a movie, Black Doctors, you know, and I even talk to some, when I do see a black doctor, especially at Sloan Kettering, in a big hospital, I feel like, wow, you're here? I can count on my hand how many times I see them in the big hospitals. And I said, oh, did you know about the organizations of black doctors? They said, no, black women doctors especially. And they said, no. And I said, oh, go join. Here's the information. Because I'm out there, I'm getting information, I don't mind sharing it. But I, myself, even taking therapy, you know, if they're not a person of color, I gotta deal with the racism, number one. And number two, I display my blackness. You know, I've had therapists fill in my skin and my hair, like, whoa. And I'm spending more time talking about my hair than therapists. I'm trying to get myself together. You're trying to figure out what a black person is. That's the way it is. And that's the reality of it. you know, and I'm working on that right now. And it's, you know, I'm talking to other, especially therapists of color. I said, you know, you're gonna have to start finding a way to take insurance to deal with that population, because they're out there, and there's a whole lot of them out there. And persons of color, is a stigma with mental health anyway, and we usually go to the church.
Well, see, okay, let me tell you my story.
Yeah.
My story is I joined when I was at Rusk, they hooked me up with a woman who was Jewish and who was a brain tumor survivor and was also a therapist. And she was the one that got me connected with the Brain Tumor Foundation. And I joined the Brain Tumor Foundation because of her. And we became very close friends. And also she was my therapist. And she really hooked me up with a lot of things. And she was the one that encouraged me to go to grad school, because she saw how people gravitated towards me in the support group. I wouldn't have gone to her if she didn't have that kind of warmth, and I wasn't able to connect with her.
Right. You're fortunate that you find someone that you can, you know, feel comfortable with and nurture you.
Exactly. Most people, particularly Black people, they don't go to support groups. They don't.
Oh, I don't see any in mine.
Exactly.
I might see one or two.
One or two. They don't go to support groups. Every single Brain Tumor Foundation and the Voices Against Brain Cancer, I could count with one hand how many, over the years, 14 years, how many Black folks have gone to those meetings. As a result, you know, it's been difficult. I mean, we have tried. Black people do not go to support groups. They go to church.
They go to church.
They go to church.
That's what they do. And good luck with that, because it's not working.
Right. You know, and particularly Black men, they're not going to go.
Oh.
You know, they're not going to go.
Oh, absolutely not.
They're not even going to go to church.
Yeah, really. I grew up, a great-grandfather was a Baptist minister, so I don't know. He just was another kind, 2 women living with him and children.
Right. I mean, they're not going to go to support groups. They're going to go to church.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate, because, you know, dealing with an illness, you know, I could write a book about dealing with this illness. You know?
I can write a book about mine. I'm planning on it. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
it's really difficult, and it just the longevity of it. It's just amazing in itself when I think about all the time and energy I spent in health.
Right.
It's totally. But I do a lot of other things, and you won't know, and you wouldn't know. And we call it hidden disease and hidden rare and all that. That you don't know, you don't see it, and then but people like us, we stay active, we stay engaged. You know, I'm just like. I'm all over. I mean, I find opportunities and I'm in it. And I'm a very social person, too.
I have become immersed in my disability. My life is my disability. I mean, of course, I didn't think my whole world would be disability, but it is. You know, because I became paralyzed and you know, I walk with this limp. So everyone recognizes that I have a disability. And because I am, you know, I still look the same, you know, but people look at me like, what the hell is wrong with her? You know, like, you know, they look at me like, ooh, she looks good, but, you know, why is she walking like that? You know what I mean? So I get all these, you know, weird looks, particularly from men. Like, you know, some of my friends from back in the day, they don't know how to handle me because, you know.
I know.
I have this, brain tumors equal death. Do you understand that? I mean,
so do sarcoma. They don't know sarcoma. So do cancer. Just
so
say
the cancer. It equals death. So they don't know how to handle me, particularly since it's paralysis, whatever. Particularly men, they don't know how to, you know, oh, you know, she still looks sexual. She still looks like, oh, I could, you know, screw her, but I don't want to screw her. You know,
she might break. She might have a whatever.
You know, she might, you know, croak. You know what I mean? Like I met a man the other day, and I said to him, I mean, I was looking good on the day I met you. I was looking good, right? Wasn't I looking good?
I told you, you're gorgeous.
Right, I was looking good. I had this coat on. I had this fur collar on. And he saw me, and I said, you know what? Usually I tell people I was in a car accident, because they can handle car accidents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to say, oh, I was in a car accident. But I said to him, he stopped me, and he opened I was going on the train, he opened the door for me. And then he opened the door again. And he said, I'm helping you. I said, well, thank you for your help. I was flirtatious. I said, thank you for your help. And he goes, oh, he said, so people should help you. I said, well, I said, you're not from New York. You're so helpful. And he says, you look so radiant with your smile. I said, well, thank you very much. He said, well, what happened to you? I said, oh, I had a brain tumor. And, you know, the look on his face. The look on his face, he goes, oh, really? He didn't know what to say.
No, they don't know what to say. They're just like a person. It's like you're stuck.
I said I had a brain tumor. I said yes, but I'm a dancer. And he just kind of looked taken aback, like oh whatever. And I said yes, and I have a dance company. I'm having a show coming up June 1st. I said you need to come. He said, oh, okay, let's exchange numbers. And we exchanged numbers, and he didn't respond immediately, but then he responded. And he said, I looked up your website, and all I could say is, wow. And I said, yes, well, come to the show. And he says, well, I'm going to come to the show. We'll see. But they don't know how to handle it. You know,
of course. Oh, God.
Then,
oh, honey, I lost so many. Forget it.
Yeah, I've lost so many friends. I mean,
and then, like I said, I was in a wheelchair. Of course, you got to go through the walker, then the cane and all that. And people would just see, well, and they were saying, wait a minute, you don't look that old. Why you got a wheelchair and why you got a cane and why are you on a walker and all that? And you go through all that transition, and then you know, and it's sometimes it get exhausting to explain. And then last year, because I had fasciitis on my foot, forget it that, and 5 hernias. So I was on a cane, and I said, oh, I don't want to explain all that. I just, you know, you make up thing. I fell. I hurt my ankle. I fell. You make up all that. You find yourself making up the ridiculous excuses because they can't handle the truth.
They can't handle it. That's why I told people it was a car accident. You know, it's a car accident. So I don't say it. You know, sometimes, like, I met another guy, maybe was it last week, and he's like, oh, I'm going to take you to the Tribeca Film Festival or something like that. And I said, of course. So if you Google me, I usually say Z, that's my name, because if I say Zazel and you Google me, there's like 60 pages saying that I'm like a brain tumor survivor. So he probably Googled my name, and so I was a brain tumor survivor. And so that's death, and I don't want to be a caregiver. So he Googled me, never contacted me again. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm gonna have to lie. I have to lie. I was in a car accident. I told some of the kids that I work with, you know, they're like, why are you walking like that? Why you walk like that? And so I said to them, I was in a car accident. I was in a 5-car pileup.
They say, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they say, oh, that's cool.
That's what Jerry Cahill just left here.
Yeah,
and he has cystic fibrosis and all kind of stuff was going on with him. And we were talking about the same thing. And I'm glad I introduced you. You need to talk with him too. And he has toys and different things for kids in the hospital and fundraisers and stuff like that. And that's something I want to grow into and doing that, especially here in Manhattan. Especially being in longevity in the hospitals, you know, because I always tell my story about sneaking out of the hospital. That's Sloan Kettering. going shopping and coming back with a big red bag and trying to hide it under my gown, and that didn't work. Okay,
No.
but they didn't say anything, but they know it happened. You know, it's just like I mean, it's hard. It's difficult. It's hard to recover, going through recover, and still dealing with illnesses and people that don't understand. And that's why I lobby for rare diseases.
Well, also, I mean, my story is so huge in that, you know, as I said, my sister is a Supreme Court judge. Okay, so I'm from the Caribbean, right? I mean, my family's from the Caribbean, from a very small island. Okay, so in that she's the judge and then I'm the one with the illness, the sickness. You can't be sick in the Caribbean. You just can't.
Oh, no.
No. Okay, so they look at me with the limp, with the disease and the disability like I'm a leper. Okay, I'm dead. It's better off that I'm dead. So although they were supportive initially, first of all, in the Caribbean, you know you have to work. You have to work. You know how they are about money, particularly since
I stayed in Jamaica, West Indies.
Okay,
yes,
so you have to have work. So when I go to the island, you know what, I went there first after I got sick to recuperate for like 3 weeks after my illness. And I was walking with a cane and the brace and whatever, and they saw me walking, and they're like, oh, Zazel, you're sick. Oh, Zazel, you're not walking, you're not working, you're not working, you're still walking like that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Oh, you're not working, you're not working.
Not working. Oh, you can't work, you can't work.
You're not working.
Oh, my God.
Jesus. Oh, Jesus,
Lord.
you're not working. And everyone's looking at me like this. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Oh. And they treat me like a piece of you know what. So I used to tell my mother when my mother died a few years ago, I used to tell my mother, Mommy, if I didn't have self-esteem and confidence, I would be suicidal. Because they treat me like you can't have a disability. They treat me like a BC you know what. With my sister, they call her my lordship.
I bet they do.
Yeah, they call her my lordship. I can't go down there because they stroke her. They stroke her. With me, they're like, oh, God.
Oh, my God.
They don't know how to talk to me.
I know. Of course they don't.
They don't know how to talk to me at all. They see me walking like this. Oh, Jesus, you can't walk. So I can't go down there. My sister wanted me to go down there this summer. Zazel, please come down there with me this summer. I said, Kathy, that place is not good for my mental health. It's not. It's not. It's not good for my mental health. I mean, it's my family's home, and that's where we were raised. You know, there's a small amount of my family left there now, very small. And you know, we want to keep up the tradition or whatever, but it's not good for me.
Well, don't go.
I told her, I said, I can't go. I can't go.
Because you don't want to be, you want to go and have a relaxing and a good time. You
I want to relax, lay on the beach, nobody knows me, you know. Oh, God, oh, Jesus Christ, look at the way you look. That's what they say. Look at the way you look. Oh, God, you can't walk, right?
Yeah.
You're not making any money? That's what they say, you're not making any money?
That means they're not getting any.
That's right, exactly. That's what they mean.
They're not getting any for sure. Don't even come over here.
Your sister got all the money. You have nothing? That's what they would say.
I know.
Nobody comes to visit me. They all go to my sister's house. No one comes to visit me. Because I have a disability.
Yeah. It's the same. Same here.
Yeah. You're not making any money? Oh, Jesus, you still walking like that?
Have it down packed. So you went to all these organizations. So you have your own schools. How long have you had the school?
My dance company. I've had my dance company now for 3.5 years, and it's called Zco Dance Project, and it consists of dancers with disabilities. It's it's wonderful. I mean, it keeps me going, you know, it gives me so much energy. The dancers are wonderful. It's about 10 dancers. We do all sorts of dances from different genres. We do ballet, African, modern, jazz. We rehearse. Now we've been rehearsing at Ripley Greer Dance Studios. I used to work at New York Live Arts, and then one of the dancers has a community room in her building. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Wow.
Our next performance, we're doing the Abilities Expo, which is the huge disability expo in New Jersey. Massive. It's about every person with a disability goes there.
I heard about it because I always watch Steve Adambato, and they were talking about this, I think it was last week, in the last couple of weeks about that. I've never been. I would love to go
It's fabulous. Excuse me, every disability device that you could think of is there.
Yeah.
Everyone.
I gotta go because I gotta see all this stuff. Because
so we're performing there the first Saturday, May 4th. And then our performance is June 1st at Symphony Space.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
So you have to come.
Okay, of course.
Yeah.
I'm there.
So we've been rehearsing tirelessly.
What's the age group for your dancers?
It's adults.
They're all adults?
Yeah, they're all adults. And we have some excellent choreographers working with us. 3 choreographers that did some pieces on us, so that's really great. So, you know, I give them the opportunity to perform with different people and make them feel like they're real performers of, you know, real live performers of different professions, you know? So that's why I like them to perform at theaters, you know, real Symphony Space. It's a wonderful theater.
Yeah, I go there a lot. I have a few people that's there, and then Zco Awards usually there every year too.
Yeah. So it's a great opportunity for them. It's a really great opportunity for them. And you know, it's a lot of work because I've been doing all the administration, all the PR. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work on my shoulders, but I mean, I love it.
How many students? How many students?
How many performers? There's about 10 of them.
10? And some of them are in wheelchairs and everything?
There's about 4 in wheelchairs, 4 or 5 in wheelchairs. Yeah.
That's great. I went to a fundraiser last year from MS, and they had a fashion show, which I hope they have another one this year. I have to talk to them. You probably know these people too. Anyway, they had a fashion show for the MS. They were in their wheelchair.
MS Society is excellent.
Yes, they were awesome. They were rolling down that runway. I mean, I tell you.
Yeah, that's an excellent organization.
And top designer gave away the clothes and everything, but they raised a few $1 million that day.
Yeah, that's an
It was
excellent
awesome. It was
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, I was in tears. I got the tape, and I need to give you that information also. And I mean, they were really, and they were so happy. Because, you know, we always talk about the stigma of being disabled. They've never done anything like that before. And just to put on some designer clothes and go down the runway as they were.
Well, it's important.
It was so awesome.
Yeah, it's important when you have a disability to feel like you
fit in.
That you fit in.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Feel like you
and there's a
belong.
place, but everybody don't find that place. So that's trying to work on that and try to give the information to make sure that people can, because some don't. They're on the outside and they just think there's no other. And I know some people have an education for disability in Brooklyn. Oh my God, she said her students are really need a lot of help, but she don't have the money and the support. I said, where do you go? Because she should have it, you know, it's out there. But some people don't know how to get the resources, you know, so I'm gonna work with her and try to support her and see what she's gonna do. Oh, need to turn you on to her. That's another thing, remind me. I got a list for you. I got a list for you because you're in that journey of disability and survivorship and doing active things, you know. I just, you know, when I saw you, I just, wow. I said, she's gorgeous, number one. I said, she looked like she's probably a dancer or something. And you kind of remind me of Hoboken, Alvin Ailey. She danced with Alvin Ailey, Hoboken. Yeah. And she is, she's so awesome. She's really awesome. I said, I don't know. I said, I don't know. You're doing something. Then I was reading your bio. I said, wow. And I saw Alvin Ailey. I said, oh, okay, she really dances. She danced. She's been dancing for a long time.
Yeah.
So I know I've had to see you and probably
I've got a little,
just walk into the same places and not, you know.
I got a little mileage on me.
We got.
Yeah, a little mileage.
Well, you're still here.
Yeah.
You're still here. We just got to share what we do and make sure everybody get what they need.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
That's our job for surviving.
Absolutely.
You know? I mean, I feel that's my place, you know, is try to give and much information. And I use the show as a platform also. As my 5th year, which I didn't take it serious, I said this year I'll, you know, do more of it and, you know, get more part of the media. And because people listen, I mean, people see me globally and they get information. That's what my show is about, you know.
Absolutely.
You're not going to sit next to me unless you give me some information. That's what Talk with Dianna is about, you know. And everybody's different, have their own thing, and you have yours. And I'm so glad you came. God, you can't believe what hasn't even been a week.
That's right.
It's probably been a week since we met. And totally, I was just like, wow, I got this open spot here. And Jerry Cahill is going to be on. And I said, that'd be right up my health. Because I said I want to do a health, you know, platform and show about health, particularly, you know. Just give people information that don't have it.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm on a journey, and you know, it's hard. It's hard, you know.
Yeah, it's difficult. You do all right. Well, we're going to do all right because we're survivors. Because we don't come off that table.
Tell me about it.
And I've been off that table many times. And like, well, that was rare, and that was just October. That surgery was rare. Oh, that was rare. I said, everything I do is rare. And they said, I don't know how you're doing this. I said, I don't know either. I said,
It's, you know, my sister, I only have one sister, and, you know, she's always on my case. I can't even tell her that I came here tonight because, you know, she's like, you need to go home and go to bed.
Why? You could go to bed and do what?
Because she thinks that I do too much. You know what I mean?
No, because the adrenaline of to not do any activity, I just can't even imagine that right now.
Well, you know, she's like, well, after your performance, you don't have anything else to do, right? You're not going to be doing anything for the summer, right? That's it. And what would I do?
What will you do?
She doesn't want me to do anything.
How can you not do anything?
Then, you know, she's like,
that's
you're
impossible.
not going to be doing anything. So I said, well,
what is not anything? I don't know. I can't.
She doesn't want me to do anything.
I don't know how you identify anything, nothing to someone that do everything.
She's like, you're not going to be doing anything, right? After your show, right? You're not going to be doing anything. That's what she said to me. She's the only person that makes me cry. I'm saying that on the television. She's the only person that makes me cry. She makes me cry. I have like emotional breakdowns all the time.
You don't have it. Do you have children?
No, I don't have any children.
Yeah, you're like me. I don't have any either.
Yeah, I mean, no. She's the only person that makes me cry. You know, she puts me in that.
Well, at least you have your sister.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, she's like makes me crazy. I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
You do you. You do what you're doing. You do what you're doing.
I mean, I think I might take like a weekend, like a couple days off, and you know, go rest someplace. But then I have to, you know, because you have an illness, you want to keep yourself out there. Like, I met a guy. He had a brain cancer. He died, and he started a not-for-profit. I think it was called, I forgot the name, 30 Lemon or something. And you know, he would do chemo and, you know, keep going. He kept going. All of us just keep going.
Because it's, once you can't do anything, I remember I couldn't move. And the only thing was in my head, I want to move.
Yeah,
I said, if I get to moving, I'm out.
Yeah, she
keep going.
She thinks that, Okay, my sister thinks that. Okay, I went to this conference in Boston in November. It was called the Rudderman Inclusion Conference Summit, and it was incredible. It was like over 1,000 people, and it was like it was. The family was from Israel, and they had like several people, panelists and everything, and talking about disability and you know, amazing people. So I met people. I was introducing myself to like heavy hitters, and I stayed there for like 2-3 days, and they paid for me. This woman here with an organization called Art Beyond Sight paid for me to go, paid for my entrance to the conference. So I told my sister I went, and you know, she was like, "Oh, okay, good, whatever." And then she said to me, "You know, your world is getting pretty insular," meaning that I'm just dealing with people in my little community.
Yeah, and because that's me, that's part of my world.
Yeah, and so I think that, you know, she means well, but, you know, as we said, you know, like, you know, me going to the support groups, we understand what we have been through. Do you know what I mean? And what we are going through. Each night when my head is hurting and my face gets super frozen from my seizures, you know, I get like a super black eye, and like I went to the dentist yesterday. I had to get a tooth pulled. When I was,
Are you sitting here?
Yeah, I'm serious. My leg went crazy in the chair when I was getting my tooth pulled because of the nerve damage in my leg and the paralysis.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, "What is wrong with your leg?"
Well, one, you in my mouth. That's what I had to tell them.
Yeah, I mean, that is
You're
a
in my
problem.
mouth. I'm nervous.
Yeah, so, you know, I go through these things.
I think if people give and have a mission to give, and that's life. And to me, that is a reason to live. As long as you're doing things to help people and to keep things going, you know. It's not all about you. You don't think about you. That's why you have your school and you're sharing and you see the results. Those people are happy. They have a life because they could be somewhere in some four-wall room not having any at all, you know,
Right.
due to the status quo. You know, oh, you need to be in some home or whatever.
Well, and now, I mean, I learned so much about disability, both mental and physical.
Yeah. So that's what we're here for, to share the education and make sure people get what they need, you know, and look this good with it.
Absolutely.
Oh, so glad you came.